What's up everybody, Maran here for a quick drive video. So this past week Chevrolet was kind enough to send me the Corvette Convertible, of course the C8 brand new one, and so I already did a full week with a hardtop Corvette with a removable top, and I did do the full press drive for that. So I took it around an autocross course, took it around Spring Mountain Raceway, did a bunch of stuff with this Corvette, very familiar with it. But whenever Chevrolet offers you a Corvette in the middle of winter on snow tires, I mean, how can I say no to that? That is an amazing, exciting opportunity. So here we are. And so as far as the mid-engine Corvette, I still love this thing. I still wish the exhaust was a little bit louder. This is the most track-oriented exhaust setting I'm in currently. And it could use more volume, but I also mentioned that in my week with video last year. But I absolutely love this thing. I mean, it is still so amazing just in general, the Corvettes, how it's such an easy car to drive with this new C8 version. I mean, it is so relaxed and so friendly most of the time that, it's very enjoyable to even daily drive, which is a weird thing to say about a Corvette, but I truly could daily drive this every day. And aside from, being super low with your sitting position, otherwise, there's no barriers to driving this every day. It's really that comfortable with the ride and just with the ease of driving it and everything. It's very, very impressive. Although, I will say, the other day whenever I was accelerating a little bit harder in this vehicle, on snow tires it does have trouble putting the power down, which is something that's unfamiliar if you've driven C8s in the past. They're very good at putting the power down thanks to the mid-engine layout here, but that was one thing. It was getting a little squirrely on me and wanting to kick that back end out on the snow tires, so it potentially could even be more fun if you enjoy tail-happy antics if you do actually drive your Corvette through the snow, or even just have snow tires on it and are driving on dry roads. It can really be a lot more lively of an experience, and so that was a fun little discovery. But other than that, I was actually really impressed with just how well the convertible part was executed. So it's a very quick convertible top. It goes up and down in about 16 seconds, and you can do it at speeds up to 30 miles per hour. And so I did actually drive around a decent amount of the time with the roof down, just had the heat blasting. This one being a 2LT model has the heated steering wheel, the heated seats, all that kind of stuff. So that kept us nice and toasty while we were cruising around with the roof down. But while the roof was down, I was really impressed with there wasn't any flex really I could feel in the chassis. I think some of that is thanks to this backbone that the vehicle has now with these C8s, which is part of the reason why they don't have a manual, because they don't want to hurt the structural integrity of that backbone. But it really gives it such a solid feeling and just makes it feel nice and stiff as far as the chassis is concerned. And so there wasn't any jittering over bumps or potholes with the roof down like you sometimes get with other convertibles. It was really a solid experience, and I was kind of impressed. I was expecting it to have at least a little bit of jitteriness, and I mean, I drove over tons of potholes and stuff, and it never once felt like it was twisting or anything like that. It really did such a good job with all that. And people love seeing a Corvette in the wintertime. It is hilarious how many people have been like, holy crap, that guy's driving a Corvette in the winter. And some of the times they were like, he's driving with the roof down? Is this guy crazy? It's kind of awesome. But one other thing I really love is you have this little window you can put up and down. And so that allows you, like in many other supercars, to get some exhaust notes without having the roof all the way down if you want. And then get all of that great exhaust noise, and it's a lot of fun. And we're coming up some corners here, and not going to push it really because the roads still are damp in some places and it's below freezing and stuff. But it's just still such a competent, capable vehicle that just has such high limits that you can't even approach them on streets at normal, sane speeds, because it just really, I mean, it is so capable. And so, it's one of those vehicles that it still is fun to drive it, even if you're not pushing it to 10/10ths. But, it's just crazy how a base Corvette still is so capable. Now, this one does have the Z51 package, so this is a little bit sportier than a regular Corvette, but it's just a sport package. It's nothing insane. We're not talking about a Z06 model or anything like that. And it still just has such good handling, so much power to it. It is insane how hilariously easy it is to pass people on the highway in this thing still. It's almost like a non-event to blow past somebody because it's just got so much power. Even though it's it's under 500 horsepower, it doesn't, you might not think it's going to feel like a mind-blowing amount of power, but just the way that it deploys it with this 8-speed dual clutch transmission, it is still just so impressive. Yeah, it always blows me away just how fast these things feel for the specs they're working with. And once they give this thing more power in the later versions, it is going to be wild for sure, because it's already wild as it is now, just with this regular version still. But if you are someone that wishes the exhaust is a little louder, this little window certainly does help you to get, you know, more of those sounds. Now, in exchange for getting that little window, you know, the one thing that you do miss is you don't get the view of the engine here with the convertible version. That is one thing that you're missing out on that I do miss. It really is really cool to look over your shoulder and be able to see the engine back there, or whenever you're outside of the vehicle to be able to see it. You know, it's all sealed off here on the convertibles, so you have to use your imagination on what the engine looks like in the convertible, sadly. But, you know, it just comes down to what you're looking for, you know, in your Corvette, because yes, you can have a convertible type experience with the regular hardtop Corvettes, and you just pop the roof off, and it's pretty easy to do, and, you know, gives you that best of both worlds type of thing. But what I noticed in the couple of times that I've driven those Corvettes and taken the roof off is that you do get a lot of like vibration noises, where it's like that helicopter type noise that you hear just from the wind getting trapped in the cabin here, and those vibrations that, you know, kind of reverberate on your eardrums a little bit. You get that kind of stuff with the you know, hardtop version when you take the roof off. And so that's the real big selling point, is if you are going to drive with this roof down all the time or most of the time, definitely go for the convertible. As long as you can give up the view of the engine, I would say definitely go for the convertible, because you don't have any of that. When the roof was down, there was never one time where I was like, oh man, like this thing's making noise. It was very refined and sedate, and exactly how you would want a convertible to be. Now, one thing you do sacrifice whenever you have this roof down, though, is that the camera rearview mirror doesn't work anymore. So that camera rearview mirror, that camera is just attached to a part of the roof that stows away whenever you put the top down. So you only have a normal mirror whenever you have that roof down. But just for kicks, I'm going to put the roof down here, and like I said, 16 seconds, very quick and easy. And I could even be doing this, like I said, up to 30 miles per hour. But I'm going to do an acceleration here just to give you guys a sample of what it sounds like with the roof down. But, alright, let's see how it does. And then it's gone! Oh man, this thing is a blast. But yeah. And, you know, honestly, it's not bad with the roof down. You know, if you have the heat blasting in your face and you have the heated steering wheel and the heated seats, it really is actually quite manageable. Like, yes, you're still getting some wind in your face. It's still a little bit cold. You know, you'd probably want to wear a hat and maybe a scarf and stuff if you really want to be toasty. But this is totally doable, and it's not as insane as it might look. And I spent an entire afternoon with Beth driving around in this thing with the roof down. It is totally doable, and you can have your cake and eat it too, really. You have your sports car fun in the winter with these snow tires on here. You have the convertible, but you have all the heating stuff to keep you comfy. It's really one of those best of both worlds kind of scenario. But yeah, this dual clutch transmission is also just so impressive with how fast it does its downshifts too. I mean, especially here in the Z mode that I'm in, with everything being in the sport and track settings, I mean, it is immediate. You will never be wanting for any kind of faster shift speeds with this thing, that is for certain. But the way the C8 Corvette handles is still so good, and it's just as good here for the convertible version as it is for the coupe. I haven't noticed any extra weight, any extra flex in corners, anything that honestly makes this feel different than the hardtop version, because they, you know, engineered the hardtop to have that removable roof anyway. So, you know, they all kind of are going to feel pretty much the same. The only extra weight is from that, you know, folding roof mechanism, but other than that, there's no sacrifices, there's no compromises. And I also have to hand it to these Michelin Pilot Alpine tires. These snow tires are some of the most impressive ones I've ever encountered with how well they grip. I mean, you still have so much front end grip with these tires, even though they're snow tires. It really is amazing. Oh man, yeah, so I have to hand it to Michelin too. These are fantastic snow tires. But we'll go ahead and go down to under 30 miles an hour here. Put this roof up. just like that, you're done. So yeah, because I love convertibles so much, and I love, you know, just driving with the top down, especially whenever it's warm, I think honestly the convertible version would be the Corvette that I would get. You know, I know that, again, you do miss out on that engine. That is a bummer. But aside from that, I think that the extra fun and the lack of wind noise that you get here in the convertible, you know, that makes it a little bit better than the Coupe, I think this would be my pick if I were to be buying a Corvette. This one, by the way, is a 2LT with the Z51 Performance package, which is also, I think, how I would spec one as well myself, because it gives you most of the stuff. I guess the interior is not quite as plush as it is in the higher trims, but you still get all the main features you're looking for. You still get the heated and cooled seats. You still get this digital camera rearview mirror, all the other nice luxuries, the Bose stereo that is fantastic, all that kind of stuff you get here. And so, you know, I think the 2LT really does enough. I mean, yes, you don't have any nice stitching on the, you know, airbag cover here for the steering wheel. The leather isn't quite as nice, maybe, you know, minor things like that. I don't think that's worth jumping up to a 3LT for personally, unless you have the money to burn. You know, I think this gives you all those great features, and you have the Z51 package, which I think is definitely worth it for the, you know, switchable exhaust, the Brembo brakes that are a little bit bigger, the extra cooling, the extra, you know, suspension improvements and stuff. I think this is really how I would spec one. So this one, as tested, is about $82,500. This one does have a couple extra options on it as well, but overall that's about, you know, where these are going to land for a Corvette convertible 2LT Z51. And so yeah, 100% think it's worth that money all day long. It is fantastic, and it's just such a special and exciting experience. And yeah, that's about all I can really say here. It's, like I said, you can go watch my other Corvette videos if you want to hear more in-depth thoughts and all the specs on these new Corvettes and all that kind of stuff. I go through all that in great detail in the other videos. But yeah, so I just want to give a huge thank you to Chevrolet here for sending me a Corvette in the middle of winter. You know, usually here in Pittsburgh, I don't really have very many fun vehicles to drive in the middle of winter. And so it's just, you know, all the stuff that's snow ready and, you know, the SUVs and stuff. So to have a mid-engine Corvette in the middle of winter has been truly a dream come true and a real treat. And so I'm very thankful for this opportunity. But anyway, let me know your thoughts on the Corvette convertible in the comments below, and let me know if you would actually drive it in the snow with the roof down if you had one. And yeah, but thank you guys very much for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Take care.